You like that?
I do like that.
What episode?
62.
Hell yeah.
I'm on the roll, boys.
Yeah. Dude, another cast. I'm ready. Glad we're back on a schedule again. Feels good.
You like that?
No, fuck it. I'll delete it then. Cast's over. Anyway. I'll tell you what. At some point, I know I mentioned it when we were talking beforehand, but it's like we did mention Rising Sun a few episodes ago, and I would like to touch on that just for at least to kind of maintain some like consistency, because I noticed going back listening to some of our episodes, we'll be like, oh, we'll cover this next time, never talk about it again.
I do like that.
I kind of do too. It makes it funny because we're all like, oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about this, and like 50 episodes
Don't
later,
talk about it.
Yeah, 50 episodes later, never say anything about it.
I do like that.
Nothing to talk about that. I kind of wanted to bring up, I'm sure you probably did too, the whole ordeal with Henry Cavill. And
yes.
Okay, yeah, I figured that was going to be a big talking point this episode. I was going to touch on it. I tried for shits and giggles. I've tried a little bit of that High on Life game, so I'll kind of give my thoughts on that.
And yeah. That's the one that's by the Rick and Morty people, right?
Yeah. And then
I'm getting tired of them, but we'll cover that later.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go into it, and then
it's such a smart show.
It's not.
Yeah, and it's like what are you talking about? It's like him walking around throwing F-bombs is not like, oh, this is so smart.
Yeah. And then I saw this thing on Twitter that even though I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, I saw this project this guy made and just kind of wanted to touch on it because it's really cool, and you might be able to help explain like why certain things didn't work out right. But other than that, that's all the topics I really had.
Nice.
Like I said, we could probably devote this whole cast to Henry Cavill if we wanted to.
I'll say I've got a few things. Obviously, as a branch off of the Henry things, I did download the 50 gig next gen update for Witcher, which I can talk about. A few other
50
things.
gigs?
It's 50 gigs.
Damn.
It's 50 gigs, man.
Do you know how big the game is on top of that?
No, I don't. Honestly, and maybe we can just start with that since we're already on it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Based on how it looks, I'm pretty sure they took Cyberpunk's visual engine and dumped The Witcher 3 into it. That's what it looks like, which is it's a compliment.
Yeah, I'm about to say that means that's a good thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I've got that installed, 50 gigs. Started a new campaign. I got all the DLCs. It works for all the DLCs. The only knock I'll give on CD Projekt Red is that, they promote themselves as being, PC first. But then, I had to download online a patch, a fan patch that was made to make the cutscenes ultra-wide. The game itself runs in ultra-wide, but the cutscenes were always not, which doesn't make any sense.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of dumb that for a company that we're PC first, that I still had to go and get an aftermarket for free, but still an aftermarket patch to get ultra-wide cutscenes.
Cyberpunk runs ultra-wide, fine and everything, right?
Right, so it's just one of the things kind of scratch your head. You're like, what's going on here?
I feel like that could have been an easy update.
But the way it looks is it looks really incredible when you're in the game, especially the outside. The character models didn't change very much, and they always looked good anyway. So, that's an area where I didn't really notice much change. But when you're outside in the world, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, because I even remember, because it's like Witcher came out in 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, even to this day, it's still pre this update. Even to this day, it's heralded as a really good looking game. It's still used in a lot of benchmark tests.
So, but a lot of people have been complaining that it's really poorly optimized. And so there are times where I'll be in there and all of a sudden I'll get a weird frame drop. So I agree with that. But what's really weird is that even when I go in there and I turn everything on ultra, ray tracing, everything on ultra, my graphics card does not heat up, which is really weird.
Dude,
weird, actually.
Speaking of really poorly optimized, so with the new 40 series cards that have RTX 3 or whatever, DLSS 3, they did Portal RTX, and apparently, because you were talking about poorly optimized, apparently Portal RTX is so poorly unoptimized that it's people are in single digit frames, and it's how the fuck did you take Portal, which it's Portal still looks good, but it's dog, that's a Source engine, that's a pretty low
That's
effort engine.
That game's like 20 years old.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, people have like 4090s and they can't hit 60 FPS, and it's like that's kind of weird. And then you also the fact that they locked it behind like DLSS 3.0, which only the 40 series cards have. So it's like, hey, cool. It's like my coworker, he has a 3080 Ti, and like he literally got like 10 frames on it.
Yeah, and to me that's just so stupid.
Because it's a patch that they can update down the road and be like, oh, now it supports DLSS 2, and it's like, yeah, sure it does, man.
So I am hoping that any day now that they're going to release kind of like a follow-up patch to try to clean it up, because I get my frames are plenty good.
Yeah.
When I'm in the game, it's just like you can kind of feel it when you're in the game. It's hard to describe, but it's like off in the distance. You can see things aren't quite as clear as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just kind of feel it. But what really makes me scratch my head, though, is, again, why my graphics card isn't heating up. You know what I mean? It's like if it really was poorly optimized, I should be hearing this thing take off like a jet engine.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's staying at like, below 60 Celsius.
Nice.
But that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like there's a fundamental disconnect here in like what I'm seeing on the screen and how good it looks compared to like how it's functioning with my computer. I don't know. Something's not right though. But I mean, It still plays. And obviously I'm going to have a lot of fun playing through that again. I did just finish God of War 2018 a few days ago, so that was kind of my goal, was to finish that before this patch came out.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I'm in. I'll need to update mine.
Well, that's all there really is to cover on that. It's a reskin graphic-wise of the same game. It's got all the DLC, so, if I run into any crazy bugs or anything, I'll let you guys know. But, I'm just excited to play through it again. That was a great game. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
But on a similar note, what Kevin was referencing, so unless you've been under a rock, there is a Netflix show about The Witcher, keeping it in the same topic, about The Witcher, that Henry plays Geralt. And he does a really good job, I think.
He does do a really good job.
Yeah, and so it was big drama, I guess, back in October, that Netflix and Henry announced that, Henry's going to be leaving The Witcher. DC is rebooting Superman, and they're going to have him come back as Superman.
I thought he was a good Superman.
I was going to say, again, not to jump too many topics here, but pretty much the only character I cared about inside of DC was Henry's Superman. Everybody else, I don't give a shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyways, flip it around now. Now he's DC has decided not to continue with him as Superman. And so I guess this has all been for the best, because now, Kevin, if you want to take it from here, what is our friend Henry doing?
He's working with Amazon to do a 40K series.
I believe they've signed a contract already, too.
I think so, yeah. And
So,
it's like,
I mean,
he's
that's
a
nuts.
huge 40K nerd too. Like, he builds the figures. He's like knows a lot of the lore. It's like he is like a big 40K fan. So I'm just like,
this will be nuts though. But we have zero details.
oh yeah. I mean, it literally just was like, yeah, like you said, they made a contract. So it's like we probably won't hear anything for a while.
Right, but it's still big time that at least we're getting something 40K coming to the screens.
That would be, yeah. And it's like 40K. It's an old community, and there's a lot to do and like research on it. But it's like, if this could, put it in front of, the more mainstream eyes, it's like, that's nothing but good. Dude,
yeah, and the fact that it's live action, it's either going to be really good or really bad.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, it has a potential to just be terrible, but it's like, I'm hoping that, I mean, it's Amazon, so they've got the budget.
Right. So we'll see what happens with that. But, that's the big news, that even after Superman was canceled, he will not be returning as Geralt in Netflix. It sounds like he's not happy with where the story's going as a Witcher fan, which makes me very nervous.
Yeah, because I think he said he wanted to like stay more true to like the source material, like the books, and the writers and producers kept changing it. And he was just like, all right, fuck this. Like, y'all are deviating from this, and this isn't good. And they were like, all right, I'll see you.
I love all these, and not to go on a soapbox here, get on a rant, but I always get really irritated, like whenever it's the holidays and I'm watching, or I go see a play with the family, of A Christmas Carol, and it's like these modern directors, like, oh, I'm going to put my stamp on this story. It's like, hey, bud, why don't you just stick with what was written? It's timeless for a reason.
Yeah.
And so, again, not saying that the Witcher books are timeless, but my point being is, like, you've got these people coming in I know better.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my stamp on it. Why? Why?
It's like there was nothing wrong with the original.
You didn't write the books. You didn't write them.
But they wrote this update.
Oh, good. Thank you for that.
Yeah, like you said, it's like these stories are timeless for a reason. Like, keep it that way.
Yeah, it's just like, tweaks are very different than like doing big time changes, which is, generally what I'm assuming we're about to see with The Witcher.
Yeah. I don't know. Just ready to see Henry Cavill as fucking the God Emperor of mankind.
I don't know what they're going to do. I was talking about it with somebody at work. There's just too many areas where they could go with that show.
That's the thing, it's like
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, it depends what faction, do they go Space Marines? Do they go Primarchs? Do they go, just the regular military? Do they go, the robot dudes, the fucking people on Mars, the Omnissiah or whatever? It's like they have so many different avenues to take that it's just like, yeah, we don't know anything. I would hope for a Space Marine one. Like, specifically, I would like to see something like Horus Heresy or pre-Horus Heresy. I just need to see some of the big Space Marines and some Primarchs. Just like duke it out.
So we'll see what comes out of it. Looking forward to it.
Or Henry Cavill could be badass as a commissar.
We'll see, man.
That could be brutal. But hell yeah. So yeah, and I guess we'll just swap over unless you have anything else to say about this. I know we kind of went off on like multiple tangents on that one.
No, I've got something to talk about around Overwatch though.
Ooh, let's get into that. Yay.
So I have an exercise bike that I like to use, and whatever. I started a new season of that show, The Orville. I like it. I'd recommend it. And anyways, the episodes went from being like 40 minutes to like an hour and 10, which is kind of an awkward time for a workout. So I did like half the episode, then I finished it the next time, and I still had like half a workout to go. So I was like, oh man, I don't really know what I want to, do with these last few minutes here. I don't want to start a new episode. So I used to watch these all the time on YouTube, like Overwatch clips of the week.
Yeah.
And it's like all like the big names, like the semi-professionals, sometimes
like
the
big
professionals.
Streamers, content creators, all that shit.
And so I was watching, I was curious. I was like, you know what? I've got 20 minutes to burn. The video's 20 minutes, something mindless. So I watched this on the bike, and dude, these guys and gals at like the higher level of the game were just ripping Overwatch a new one. And dude, it made me so happy. It made me so happy.
What do you mean by that?
Bugs where like you'd have like a Reinhardt charge into a hog into a wall, and it would like frame glitch, and the hog would get sent flying off the map and die in a competitive game at like the Grandmaster level.
I like that a lot, actually.
And like they'd start yelling and stuff, and there was just all kinds of like hog hooks going through walls, like whipping on somebody behind you and pulling them forward, which makes no sense at all. There was a lot of complaints about Sojourn. It was just like at least 25% of the clips were professionals
like
just pointing out like this is garbage, and
Good.
That got me a little hype.
I mean, there are a lot of bugs in that game too. I loved whenever people were finding out how to get like under the map as Torb, and they would just throw like Torb turrets under the map where they can't be destroyed, and they would just like shoot through the floor. And it's like, hey, how did you all not play test this shit first?
I love that.
It is pretty funny. Or like the Bastion like rapid fire ult when that was out, that was pretty funny.
I do like that. So that's all that I really wanted to cover on that was just that, like, even at the higher levels, people are just going, this is like a disgrace, the state that they released this game in that they had 3 years to work on. And the engine was already built.
Yeah, it's an update. I refuse to call it a new game. It's an update. It's so beautiful.
So I did enjoy that. That made me chuckle.
Good. Dude, just kind of going off, just somewhat similar subject, but the bullshit of Overwatch, we've kind of taken a little bit of a break and not been playing it as much. And I don't know how many months it's been, but we went on to Valorant, and it's like just played 2 games, and it was like both games, it's like everyone was just an asshole. And it's like, I'm glad that this community, as bad as Overwatch is, it's like I'm glad Valorant is still like just as bad, if not worse.
Right.
Like thinking like, oh dude, Overwatch sucks, let's go to this, and it's almost the exact same experience.
if not worse.
But at the same time, like, it is pretty fun how hyper serious people take Valorant, to where it's like it can be like, you know, 1v5 and it's like they'll lose and you can just be like nice, and then it's just like that sets them off for the rest of the game.
I do love that.
It is pretty fun.
I do love that.
Dude, that it's rough. That community sucks.
Valorant, I mean, and you know, I know I said on a previous podcast that I prefer Overwatch objectively to Valorant. I don't know, man. I feel like that's starting to change. Like Kevin and I know Kevin was out this weekend, but I had told Kevin during the week this week that I was like, dude, I want to take a break from Overwatch. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. Like, you know, they just brought in this new fucking tank, and then I don't know if you saw, but in the next patch they're buffing the new tank. Yeah,
and like they already have a bunch of shit. They're buffing Ana too.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's just exhausting. Like, I'm tired of the same shit happening in like every single game of Overwatch we play. I don't know, man. I'm getting burned out on this fucking game.
Yeah. And it's been out for like 2 months.
Yeah, I'm just getting burned out, you know.
Time to level back up on Valorant.
Oh God. So I mean, we'll see. I'm getting a little fatigued of Overwatch, looking for something else to play. But again, the current state of games, there's not, unless you want to buy like a bunch of little $5 games.
Hey, those $5 games are good.
They are indeed, sir.
Speaking of, you know, games that are good, not necessarily $5 game, but just like, you know, got me thinking about other games to play. Kind of for that reason, I downloaded High on Life, that game from the Justin Roiland, the creators of Rick and Morty.
They're so smart.
Yeah, sure. But it's like, you know, I have Game Pass, so it's like I saw it was on there. I was like, you know what, fuck it, why not? It's literally free essentially. So I played it for like, you know, hour or so, and it's like it's a very, you know, if you know Rick and Morty humor, you know this game's humor. I mean, the voices are almost the same. The humor's just that very kind of improv-y, just crude stuff. So it's like I went into it, you know, not expecting a lot, and it's like, I mean, I've had some laughs for it. I mean, as much as like the Rick and Morty fandom gets memed, it's like I still do like the humor in it if you just take it for humor instead of it's underlying like social commentary or whatever. And it's like, dude, just take the humor for what it's worth and you'll have a good time. And it's like, yeah, I feel like I'll probably enjoy that game. It's just a good game, especially after playing shit like Valorant and Overwatch, like this just stressful bullshit. It is nice to kind of just kick back on a game that literally doesn't take itself seriously at all. So it's like, I've been having fun with it. I think that's kind of a good little breather. And, you know, we need more comedy games. There's not really many of those anymore.
Well, oh God, my leg's asleep. So I apologize if I start making weird noises. Speaking of funny games, though, a game that I've been thinking about that I don't think it's on Steam because I've never seen it go on sale. But funny games would be Brutal Legend back in the day with Jack Black.
I loved Brutal Legend.
That game was fun, man.
I think it is. Is it not on Steam?
I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. If it is, I need to put it on my wish list.
Let me see. Yeah, I'll check while you keep talking. Dude, Eve, I opened up Steam and see Eve Online. Nice.
We missed the boat on that game, man, by about 10 years.
Yeah, Brutal Legends on Steam.
Nice. I need to put it on my wish list.
Yeah, $15 regularly. And then I guess
for all things tight and leathery.
I'm sure that when it goes on sale, it probably goes on sale for like less than $5.
Probably like $2, honestly. So
that was a good game. Like I said, just another one of those like goofy games that doesn't take itself seriously.
Right. I'm just looking for something fun and creative.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I'm just burned out on Overwatch, Valorant. You know, that's why I beat God of War 2018 in like 2 weeks, playing a lot each night. I was just ready to get out of Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, I restarted. Like, I made a whole new character on Elden Ring, and I'm sitting there getting my ass rocked on that game. And it's like I still keep playing it. And it's like I don't really want to play Overwatch. It's like I'll play it when we're both on, but it's like.
Agreed. I don't play by myself ever.
Yeah, it's like I would solo queue during the previous season, but now I'm like, man, fuck this. You like that?
You like that?
Nice.
Nice.
Dude, oh, nice.
Well, what board games did you guys play this weekend?
So the only one we really played was a lot of Secret Hitler because a handful of the people there hadn't played it before.
You guys didn't play anything else?
I mean, the other thing we played a lot of was it's like we played Jackbox because it's got a bunch of mini games in it. We just played that on our phones because someone had it on their Switch, so you just host it from there, play on your phones. And it's like I like those games. The Jackbox games are fun as fuck.
You like that?
I do. I mean, we got to play. You'll see once you play them, be like, all right, these are fun. I do like their business model is interesting too, to where it's like only one person has to own the game, and they can host it for up to 10 people to join, and you can join through like your web browser or your phone or whatever.
Interesting.
And it's like, it's just very simple, easy to learn, just like goofy games. And it's like obviously, the games like they're kind of goofy and like, family friendly, but it's like the answers, depending on the group you play, it's like the answers go downhill almost immediately.
As expected.
Yeah. It'll just be like a solve questions, like just some generic, tee hee ha ha prompt. And then it's just like high school degeneracy for like 10 answers. And it's like, cool. Like, I'm sure probably playing this game probably is like a way to like get on a list. But it's fun.
You like that?
I do. It's fun. Dude, way off topic, but I saw it the other day. And I was just like, damn, I hadn't heard of that game in a minute. But like I saw a tweet that said, it was just a picture of a PS2. And it's like, if you could pick one PS2 game, like from the whole PS2 generation to be like remastered and brought up to like normal standards, what would it be?
I don't know. What were some options that came out there?
So the one that really threw me, like not threw me off, but I was like, damn, like that was cool. Did you ever remember playing this game called PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Let me Google it while you're talking.
It was like a third-person shooter. I believe it was third person, and it's like your guy had like like telekinetic abilities and like pyrokinesis and like mind control. It was like it was a really cool take on like shooter.
I remember the cover. I never played it, but I do remember when this game came out.
It was a really fun game, and it's like also just to do it. The tweet was from @RetroblastUS.
Very cool.
Another game that they showed, another great shooter, was this game called Black. I don't know if you ever played that one.
I remember Black. That game was like one of the bridge games between the Xbox and the 360.
Dude, Black was so cool. A lot of people were putting JRPGs because PS2 did have a massive JRPG following, but the game I put for it was I still like I talk about it like once a month with my friends, but it's like I would kill for a SOCOM like reboot. Like, do you remember the SOCOM US Navy SEALs games?
Yeah, whatever happened to them?
I don't know. They were like, those games were awesome. And I was just like, damn, like it's like PS2 has all these great IPs. It's like, we kind of are in the age of remakes and remasters, because it's like we get about as many of those a year as we do new games. It's like, dude, that was like a PS2 staple. Like, I'm not saying it was quite the Halo of PS2, but it's like it was when you played PS2 shooters, it was like SOCOM and like the Ghost Recons and Rainbow Sixes were on everything, so whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I love those games, man. Back when games came out and worked, and that was it. And that game had online play.
I know I've harped on this on a past cast, but it's just, I didn't even play games last night, which today it's Sunday, by the way. So usually it's Friday, Saturday night, we're playing games, blah, blah, blah. And like, I didn't even get on last night, man. I was on like yesterday morning, and I was looking at like my Steam cache, and like I have like 20 updates sitting in there.
Oh yeah, I was the same way when I came home.
And it's just exhausting. It's like, I don't know, man. I remember back in the day, a game might have 2 patches total ever.
Yeah.
And they were like years apart, and then now it's just like every day people are pumping out half a gig patches every day, and it's just like, this has gone so far off the rails. This is so ridiculous at this point. I'm so tired of it. Like, I just got on last night. I looked at like how many games needed updates that were like multiple gigs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go watch a movie.
Yeah. It's like
it's exhausting.
It's like, it is cool. It's like, constant updates, keeping the game, running, adding stuff in is cool and all, but it's just like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, it was like, I don't know if that's also just the way like the gaming community is now, because it's like, if you don't update or patch a game, people just be like, oh, your game's stagnant and boring. But it's like, back in the day, it's like, like you said, a game might not have an update out for like years, and it's like you played the same thing all those years and you had fun the whole time. But it's like, now it's like, if a game doesn't get an update within like 2 months, everyone's like, dead game, boring. And it's like, oh, we don't need new shit. It's like, if you make a good game from the start, people will stick around. Like, come on.
So it's just exhausting, man. It's
even
just
my
like especially after work, if it's been a long day and you boot up and you want to play, and then like, oh, there was an unexpected 2 gigabyte thing that comes out, because not only do you have to download and install, but then the game has to patch too.
Yeah, and sometimes a patch can be, a really quick patch. Sometimes it has to patch the entire fucking game. Because yeah, I've downloaded like a 500 megabyte update, and then it patches like a 50 gig game, and I'm like, come on, man.
So annoying.
It kind of is. And it's also
actually, go ahead.
I was saying also, just not to say that the fucking space is taking up on your hard drives.
I know, it's ridiculous, man.
Dude. So
all I'm gonna say, man, is talking about The Witcher again, going back to that. So I found this article on IGN, and it's The Witcher showrunner denies any animosity towards the source material. Lauren S. Hissrich said she never mocked the books and that the writer's room was a quote-unquote safe and supportive space. What the fuck are we doing here?
You really liked that.
What the fuck are we doing here, man?
You really liked that.
It's just like, what do you mean? Writer's room. The books are written. What are you doing?
Dude, like, what did you say earlier? They're putting their own
it's
mark on it.
Like, who are you? Have you ever heard of Lauren Hissrich?
No.
And just reading it, and also the article's written by Adam Bankhurst. And so, just reading some quotes. As reported by Eurogamer, Hissrich, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Hissrich began receiving a ton of complaints about the show following an interview from a former producer and writer on The Witcher named Bo DeMayo back in October. DeMayo said that some of the writers actively dislike the source material books as well as Project Red's games.
Cool.
So why the fuck are they a writer for Witcher?
It's funny. I'm pretty sure Halo did the same thing, where they were like, we hired people who didn't like Halo to help create Halo. And it's like, why? Why are you doing that?
This is a quote from DeMayo, I guess, who was a former writer or something. He says, I've been on the show, I've been on show, namely Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games and even actively mocked the source material. It's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom, as a litmus test, checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. My mind just blown right now. Like this, I didn't even know about this, man.
You got really fired up.
How could you not?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I don't. It's like, if they're actively don't like it and stuff, then it's like, why are you even doing it then? Like, what's the point? Like, are you just doing it to be like, hee, I want to make people angry, I'm a big dumbass? Like, what are you doing it for then?
I don't know, man. This is just nuts to me. Just nuts, man.
That's pretty stupid. Well, it's like, and I kind of feel bad for I forget who it was. It's not the guy who plays Thor, but it's his brother, the other Hemsworth. And it's like,
yeah, it's Liam.
Liam, yeah. And it's like, I kind of feel bad for him, because it's like, everyone's just ripping on him, and it's like, all right, it's not his fault, but it's just like, the show is going to flop now at this point. It's like, it sucks that, Hemsworth pretty much got dragged into it and is going to pretty much face the brunt of that charge, because the studio behind it was just stupid as shit.
So stupid, man.
And it's like, yeah, they're going to do all this, and they're going to be like, well, we thought the show was going to be good. And it's like, then you can just go back to this article. It's like, did you? Like, you clearly didn't give a shit. That's sick.
So annoying. It's just so annoying. Dude,
they got us. They showed us. They're
they're the name of Witcher now, not the fuck. I don't even know how to say the author's name, so I'm not going to attempt it.
It's like Andre. I think it's spelled. I think it's Andrzej. So Andre. I don't know. It's Polish, so I'm not going to even try. But it's just that just infuriates me, man. It's just like I'm going to say it. What are we doing here?
You really liked that.
You can hear it just sucked the morale out of me right now too. I'm just like, whatever. I don't even care. Whatever, man. Who cares?
Dude, but hey, at least we get a 40K series now. That's the silver lining. Yeah. Henry Cavill is super unlucky. It could fall through.
Well, other than that, I know we're bumping against our mark. We ran out of time for Rising Sun again.
I like how we're self-aware that we don't talk about it, and then we still keep doing it. That's the next level.
Man. It's okay. I'm just going to open the rule book. I'm going to read the rules, and then I'm just going to make up my own shit for how I think it should work.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing. That seems like a reasonable thing to do, actually.
And if you don't like it, it's because you don't think that it's a safe space.
You're right. Yeah, just fuck it up. We'll make up your own rules, and it'll be better than what's already been put in place and celebrated.
Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but if you're in a writer's room and somebody just starts saying random shit that has nothing to do with The Witcher, and then you're just like, no, we're not doing that. That doesn't make it not a safe space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A safe space should go both ways where the people that are involved in this are committed to, the cause of The Witcher, so to speak.
Well, they'll take, input.
Yeah, you can take input, criticism, but to me, it sounds like these people weren't able to take criticism. And it's well, then you're in the wrong profession.
Yeah.
Not trying to be insensitive.
Dude, you're so insensitive.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
That just killed it for me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm done with this episode.
All right, well.
Are you smiling?
Not really, no.
Well, it's your boy Big Sandwich.
Dude, it's case, dude. It's been episode 62. I'm going to go disrespect the source material of this podcast
and it's
now.
Your boy Big Old Sandwich now.
Dude, these endings suck.